What if your anxiety isn't a flaw in your mind, but a message from it? What if every overthinking spiral, every racing heart, every restless night wasn't proof that something's wrong with you, but proof that your brain is trying to help you, just using the wrong language? Dr. David.D.Burns' timeless classic feeling. Good, the new mood. Therapy reveals that the real source of anxiety isn't the world outside you. It's the thoughts you believe inside you. And the best part? You can change those thoughts. You can literally rewire the way your brain creates anxiety. Imagine for a moment your mind is a radio station. Every day, thousands of thoughts broadcast through it. Some are empowering, some are neutral, and some distort the signal completely. When anxiety strikes, it's not that the world suddenly turned dark. It's that your radio dial shifted to a distortion frequency. Dr. Burns, one of the pioneers of cognitive behavioral therapy, discovered something simple, yet revolutionary. You can train your brain to tune differently. He found that depression, anxiety, and worry don't come from events themselves. They come from how we interpret those events. The brain turns fleeting thoughts into emotional realities. But the moment you challenge those thoughts, the chemistry of your feelings begins to shift. Chapter 1. The chemistry of a thought. Let's run a small experiment right now. Think of something that made you anxious recently. A text you didn't get, a call you were waiting for, an upcoming meeting. Notice what happens. Your heart speeds up. Your chest tightens. It feels real, immediate, urgent. Now, take that same situation and imagine someone else facing it. Your friend, your sibling, your younger self. What would you tell them? You'd probably say, "Relax, it'll be fine," right? The situation didn't change, only the thought about it did. That's the foundation of Dr. Burns' work. Your thoughts create your feelings. Change the thought, and the emotion follows. This isn't positive thinking, it's cognitive reprogramming, the science of redirecting your brain's pattern recognition. Chapter 2. The 10 mental traps that create anxiety. Dr. Burns identified 10 hidden thinking errors that trigger anxiety and worry, automatic distortions we rarely notice. Here are a few that might sound familiar. All or nothing thinking. If it's not perfect, I've failed. Life becomes a test with only 2 outcomes: success or disaster. Overgeneralization. I messed up once, so I'll always mess up. One bad moment becomes a permanent identity. Mental filter. You ignore the 9 things that went right and obsess over the one that didn't. Mind reading. You assume others are judging you, even when you have no proof. Fortune telling. You predict negative outcomes as if they're facts. Emotional reasoning. I feel anxious, so something must be wrong. Should statements. I should be more confident. I shouldn't feel this way. Labeling. Instead of saying, I made a mistake, you say, I am a mistake. Magnification. Small problems become life-threatening emergencies in your mind. Personalization. You take responsibility for things you can't control. The moment you start noticing these distortions, anxiety starts losing its power. Because anxiety thrives in the dark, it disappears under awareness. Chapter 3. The experiment of awareness. Here's your first real experiment. For one day, write down any anxious thought that hits you. Don't fight it, just record it, as if you're a scientist observing your own brain. Then, next to it, Right? Is this thought a fact or an interpretation? Most of the time, it's interpretation. The mind makes up stories faster than you can question them. But the moment you separate what happened from what you think happened, the emotional charge weakens. That's the first spark of freedom. Chapter 4, The Reverse. Experiment, thought reframing. Let's go deeper. Pick one anxious thought you've written down. For example, I'm going to mess up that meeting. Now, write down 3 alternate explanations that are equally possible. Like, maybe I'll actually handle it fine. Even if I stumble, I'll recover. Everyone in that room is just human. You're not lying to yourself. You're expanding the lens. Your brain is like Google. It only shows you what you search for. If you type, "I'll fail," it shows you proof of failure. Type, "I'll adapt," and it finds proof of resilience. This is the essence of cognitive rewiring, shifting from automatic fear to conscious clarity. Chapter 5, The Brain's Anxiety Circuit. Neuroscience now confirms what Burns proposed decades ago. When you think an anxious thought, the amygdala, your emotional alarm, fires. It sends signals to your nervous system, your heartbeat, your breath, your muscles. But when you introduce a new thought, a calm, grounded one, your prefrontal cortex, your reasoning brain, steps in. It tells the amygdala, you're safe. Each time you do this, your brain literally rewires itself. New neural pathways form. The anxiety signal weakens. So when you challenge your thoughts, you're not just thinking differently. You're sculpting your brain into a calmer, stronger version of itself. Chapter 6, The Mood Elevator. Dr. Burns uses a beautiful metaphor called the mood elevator. Imagine your emotional state as a floor in a tall building. You can't teleport from the basement of anxiety to the penthouse of bliss, but you can take the next floor up. If you're feeling anxious, your next floor might be curiosity. From curiosity, you move to understanding. From understanding to self-compassion. From self-compassion to peace. The goal isn't to force happiness, it's to keep taking one small emotional elevator upward. Try this simple mental habit. Every time you notice anxiety, whisper to yourself, "Which floor am I on right now? And what's the next one up?" That single question can interrupt hours of spiraling thoughts. Chapter 7, The Experiment of Compassion. Anxiety often feeds on one powerful belief: I shouldn't feel anxious. That thought alone doubles your anxiety. So here's the next experiment. For one day, stop trying to fight anxiety. Instead, observe it like a kind scientist. When you feel it rising, say to yourself, "Ah, anxiety. You're trying to protect me. Thank you for showing up." Then breathe, slowly, deeply. When you meet anxiety with compassion instead of judgment, its intensity drops. You stop being the victim of anxiety and become the observer of it. That shift, from fear to understanding, is emotional alchemy. Chapter 8, The Anti-Anxiety Formula. Dr. Burns created a formula that turns thought awareness into transformation. Thought arrow, feeling arrow behavior. To change anxiety, you don't fight the feeling, you trace it back to the thought. Whenever you feel anxious, pause and ask, what was I thinking just before this feeling hit? Maybe it's, what if I fail? Or, they'll judge me. Write it down, then test it for truth. Facts remain calm. Only distortions create panic. With practice, your mind begins catching itself before anxiety snowballs, almost like a friendly pop-up notification saying, "Hey, we've been down this path before." Chapter 9. Your Experimental Toolkit. Let's put it all together with 3 mini-experiments you can try right after this video. The 48-hour thought log. For 2 days, note every moment of tension and the thought that triggered it. Awareness creates detachment. The opposite proof game. When a fear appears, list 3 reasons why the opposite could also be true. You'll be shocked how fast your brain adapts. The body anchor. When anxious thoughts arise, take 1 slow inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth, and focus on your heartbeat. Grounding the body interrupts the thought loop instantly. You don't need to cure anxiety overnight. You just need to start experimenting with how it works, and notice that you're stronger than it. Chapter 10. The Freedom Beyond Anxiety. Eventually, as Dr. Burns says, the question isn't, how do I stop anxiety? It's, what is my anxiety trying to teach me? Because behind every anxious thought lies a deep human need for safety, for control, for acceptance, for peace. The goal isn't to silence the mind, it's to teach it a new language, one rooted in curiosity, truth, and calm observation. When you do that, anxiety transforms into awareness, fear becomes focus, and panic turns into presence. If you've made it here, take a breath. You've already done what most people never do. You noticed your mind. That awareness is the beginning of mastery. You don't need to become fearless. You just need to become fluent in your own thoughts. Because when you learn the language of your mind, you stop being controlled by it and start co-creating with it. So tonight, instead of fighting your thoughts, listen to them, observe them, rewrite them, one truth at a time. And soon you will realize anxiety wasn't your enemy. It was your teacher guiding you back to yourself.